Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack. Today is August 8th, and today's episode is going to cover a whole lot of voting stuff that's going on that's really exciting. We've got a protocol update from Mav, we've got some bond reductions happening that are helping with the deposit pool, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So the only place to start today is this post from Langers, and he says, "Hey everyone, big day for governance, much governance. There are 4 snapshot vote proposals now live," and then there's links to 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Langers says these proposals are the results of months of engagement and drafting by the community. A big thank you to the authors for their tireless work and determination. Also thank you to everyone who's engaged in this process, discussing, refining, providing counterpoints and alternatives. We look forward to working with the community on the future of Rocket Pool. And then there's like Rocket Pool, which is really cool. So let's actually go and have a look at the votes and see where we stand right now. So there are 4 votes active, like Langer said. The main one, the one that we talked about yesterday, was this vote. Let me just change this to night mode if I can. No, that doesn't make sense. That's okay. Yeah, I'll just have to leave it on night mode for now and play around. Oh, there it is, settings. No, that's not working either. Sorry. Yeah, you'll just have to stick with night mode for now. But anyway, RPIP 49, that's the one that we talked about yesterday. This is the one that will set the path for the tokenomics rework. Now, this one, like, we read out yesterday with the text that there are 4, like a whole bunch of different, oh wait, what am I doing? Cancel. There are a whole bunch of different votes that are like a whole different bunch of different RPIPs that are part of this, but some of them will actually need specific votes to happen later, and the process is that if this vote fails, then we'll vote again with the proposals from 1KX, from Mike, and from Evan, IB1 Gymnast, being included on the ballot as well, and seeing if those are ones the community prefers. But looking at this vote now, it is a resoundingly yes vote. So 99.25% of people have voted in favor of this. That's 12,000 votes. The quorum is, I think, 15,000 votes. So we are currently at, I believe, like 80% or 85% to quorum. So let's have a look at some of the vote comments. So there's me here first, says this vote has been months in the making. Hundreds of people have shared their opinions and ideas. This will help Rocket Pool tremendously. Waldo said, let's effing go. This person here says, here is our hope to save RPL. I think that's Ramana actually. This person here says, a lot of long and hard thinking on this one. It's the right way to proceed. Farewell, Fire Eyes Tokenomics. Hulu says, after months of iteration and deliberation by the community, I believe this proposal represents the best way forward for both Rocket Pool and RPL the token. There was one vote that went against this, and that person was bluemage.etho here, and they said, I demand a bribe to vote in favor of RPIP 49. Also, Valdork is heckin' lame. Get wrecked. Snow Doyle rules. So I have no idea who this person is. Of course, I might have an idea of who they are, but it seems like they want to bribe in order to vote for RPIP 49 with their 80 vote power. But I think this person is just joking. But the resounding success basically of this vote so far, getting so close to quorum, and it's not even been 12 hours that it's been live, just over 12 hours that it's been live. So this is absolutely amazing. There's, like I said, there's 3 other votes going on right now that we didn't talk about yesterday. So this is RPIP 57, node distributor user fund unbundling. And it says RPIP 57 guarantees that anyone can distribute ETH in node distributors where execution layer rewards for people not in the smoothing pool go. And you can read the rationale for that. Basically, it helps maintain the RETH peg. And then there's another couple of votes here as well, which limit ODAO powers. So this is MEV penalty guardrail RPIP 58. So RPIP 58 introduces a limit on the total number of MEV penalties that the ODAO can apply to mini pools in 1 week. And like I said, this is a limit to the ODAO power. And then there is the last one here, balance mission guardrail RPIP 61. And this again, RPIP 61 limits how much the ODAO can change the RETH exchange rate. So here we actually got an abstain. Let's see who abstained here. It was the person left no comment with the abstention, but otherwise I think the votes are strongly in favor, getting very high percentages in favor. So this is all really exciting. It's like governance sweepstakes, like super Thursday in governance land. This is really exciting. So please go and vote. But it looks like the tokenomics rework is going to go through. It's going to hit quorum probably in a few hours. One of the things that we'll see is whether anyone overrides their people that they're delegated to. The way that you'll be able to see that is to see if the vote amount changes. I think that'll be interesting to look at. But I think that this is a very, very popular change, the tokenomics change, RPIP 49. And it looks like it's going to go through. So we're gonna start a new era for Rocket Pool, and I'm incredibly excited about that. Now let's go back to the Discord. People here were talking about it. So this is when the vote went live yesterday, just after 8 p.m. Eastern time, and people started talking about it and voting on it, and it was like people started talking about how, like, Valdov here was saying on Snapshot, folks can change their votes. So it's definitely in play until it's done. Of course, that means that you can like anyone can change their vote anytime. I can like change my vote, but it's not going to matter much. But here we also see that the votes are coming through. People just talking about it. People were talking about there being a POAP. So if you vote on this, Shifrin said he will make a POAP for RPIP 49. But you can follow the discussion there. And then since we're talking about voting, we actually got a new delegate, set up a new delegate profile. And this one is from Pateris. And you can actually go and delegate your vote to Pateris. This won't count for the current votes unless you did it yesterday when Pateris mentioned this. But if you are thinking of delegating your vote to Pateris after watching Rocket Fuel today, he won't get any vote power. Actually, looking at Pateris's profile, it shows that no one has delegated to Pateris yet. So this is one of those situations where it's not going to make a difference for this vote, but maybe for the next one. But Pateris actually spent a lot of time writing out a really thoughtful delegate profile. So definitely, consider Pateris as someone that you will delegate your votes to. People here are getting like different amounts of voting now. Shifrin's got nearly 500. Dave's got nearly 1,000. Langer's got nearly 800. And I've got too much, so I removed my address. Valdov's got too much, so he removed his address. Lou's got nearly 800 as well. Jasper's got nearly 1,000. Dr. Doofus is at 700. Ken 1100. Fornax 450. OB4 is at 412. Dukey 205. Ramanan at 1300. Invis 1100. Samus nearly 1300 as well. Mr. F 109. Gecko 63. Patches has also removed his address now, so he's not looking for more delegates. That's at 2073. And then there's Seb at 27, Noshwa at 1100, Vaka at 200, and Scuzzle at 560. So if you are still looking to delegate your vote to people, check out the delegates.rocketpool.net page where you can get that information. But also, if you want, you are able to set up become a delegate yourself. Like, it's always nice to have more people to delegate to. Hopefully we'll get a better distribution of votes because of that. Okay, going back to the Discord now, we'll see that Maverick also had a protocol update yesterday, talking about a few things that's going on. So he says, hey everyone, thanks to the success of last week's Europe-friendly call time, we have another one coming up soon. That's in 22 minutes of when I'm recording, so at 11 a.m. Eastern time. This one will be Ken hosting a special guest to talk about RETH DeFi opportunities. Next week, there's more friendly Australian time. Langers will be back to chat with Jasper about the bi-weekly update, and they will have a special guest for that call too, a portfolio tracker that has support for node operators. That's pretty cool. And then finally, for anyone near New York City, there's a Rocket Pool meetup taking place this Friday, so you should attend if you are in town. And that is the one set up by Long Island Blockchain. I don't know how many people are going to make it. Like, there's only a couple of people who have responded to this that they'll be there. I think Patches will be there, and it looks like Willie Doko and I'm a Loop will be there as well. So if you're interested in going, definitely go to that. It seems like it should be a fun one. Okay, so yesterday's episode was actually really funny. We were talking about the deposit pool stats, and we were talking about how, we'd reached over 30,000, and during that time, Ramana said that, Marko was starting to bond reduce. However, there was no evidence that Marko was bond reducing at that time. Well, a few hours after the episode came out, Marko started bond reducing. So here you can see in the events channel, there's literally dozens, if not like hundreds of bond reductions that Marko did yesterday, and that is basically eating into the deposit pool. And there's been some of the numbers have gone down a little bit, but what's happened is he hasn't bond reduced all his validators yet, so we went from 30,000 to 28,000. I think if he does bond reduce all his validators, we will get closer to being 18,000 again. But this is really funny because Ramana was talking about it. So not sure, here says now you can stop pretending that you dreamt it, and Ramana said nice. And then also Valdov says maybe the causality is backwards. Your dream caused the mention, caused the reality. So that's what I think might have happened, is that Ramana had a dream about it, then I covered it on Rocket Fuel, then someone was like, hey Marko, like, why haven't you bond reduced? So he's like, oh yeah, I should do that. So then he started bond reducing. However, the other chance is, of course, that Ramana is actually Marko, and he didn't actually dream it. He just lied that he dreamt it. It was that he shared his plans on his alt account. Well, whatever the reality is, it's actually really funny that it worked out that way. But yeah, hopefully Marko will bond reduce the rest of his validators. That will get him more money. That will get Patricio potentially more money in their marriage, and also it will help Rocket Pool bring on more more validators online, which of course is what we want. Okay, so there's a couple of different discussions going on with Langers kind of being part of them, and I think that's really cool. One of them that we talked about yesterday was the ETH-only validators. There's another discussion taking place called Accelerating Saturn. Now, you can follow the link in the description to find this, but what the discussion that's been happening is people are kind of trying to work out what we can do to make Saturn come earlier and make it happen faster, right? And there's been like discussions back and forth about like hiring more team members, and that's been met with some resistance, or at least some like discussion. And another thing that's kind of come up in this is, in these discussions, is that the team has their contract with the PDAO running from October to October, and the consequence of that is that they need to put in a new proposal for the team to get funding for another year. So this discussion has been happening over here, and Langer's talking about how it's going to be a collaborative process, and this is about maybe potentially the PDAO hiring some devs that might help with Saturn, but also about getting the vote. It says the PDAO responsible for raising a vote technically should be facilitating prioritization discussions, but realistically our engagement around the rework of RPIPs and other alternatives is doing the same job. Please let me know if you don't agree. And then they said that there's basically a few different threads here that I'm kind of pulling out at the same time, but if you want to follow this discussion, Langers has been talking to Scuzzle and Long for Wisdom and Ramana and others about these issues. It's actually like really, really interesting about these like dynamics that are at play, basically. So how it might work to integrate a new dev, and then this is what Lang is basically saying, that it can take months to hire a person, it can take months to integrate them. All of that work takes away from actual work that Langers could be doing instead, like working on Saturn, etc. And then what happens is, after all those months, if the person's not a good fit, they might want to leave, they might get a better job opportunity elsewhere. So all that time will be wasted. I think the way that this should have happened is while Kane was working on Houston stuff, maybe the team or the community could have made more of an effort to hire someone, and that person could have started working on Saturn stuff, because I don't think the two necessarily overlap. But that's the situation we find ourselves in now. Here, Ramana says to Scuzzle, our task is clear, and basically getting the vote going for getting the team funded, and maybe more than that as well. So there's some interesting stuff going on over here. One of the things is like, how is the team going to be paid? So last time they were paid in RPL tokens. I think it was around 50,000 RPL. And the idea was that the team would manage their treasury themselves. Well, the idea was like, if they'd been paid in dollars, then that would have been potentially better for them, because they would have known exactly how much they had to work with. And now with the RPL price going down compared to last year, it might put it in a bad situation where it'll be quite expensive to fund the team. Well, Lang has actually said that the RPIP says that the team will be paid 5% of inflation, so they'll just be getting the same amount of RPL again, which they'll have to be really creative with how they're managing their treasury. But I guess that's up to them, and I'm sure there's going to be more happening with this discussion in the next few days, weeks, and months. Okay, so in yesterday's episode, I think, or maybe the day before, I told you all that grants round 15 was about to end, and we needed people to make their submissions. Well, in this round we had 5 applications, so it's going to be quite a light month for the GMC on that front. Grants round 16 has opened, of course, and now we are again, that's open. Let me actually show you the details for that. Grants, let's just go back here. So the grants and bounty round 16, like I said, is open, and that's open until September 7th. One of the things that's actually going to be happening with that period as well is there's going to be a new GMC elected. It happens every 10 to 14 months, and there's internal discussions starting with the GMC about the next GMC election. Of course, as you all know, the GMC currently receives a stipend from the PDAO for their services. So that's something for you to pay attention to if you are interested in applying for a GMC membership. If you are listening to this and you feel like you're not a very active community member, to get your name out there for people to vote for you, now is the time for you to start doing that. Like, make a good impression, start doing some work for the community. There's a whole lot that can be done. Get your name out there, and then you can run for the GMC position as well. And that, of course, is at least a month, if not more, away. So I'm just letting you all know that this is something that's going to be coming up with the GMC, but if you are interested in putting forward a grant, retroactive award, or submitting a bounty, then you have until September 7th to do that. Okay, now next we've got some news of a couple of client updates. So here we have one from Teku, and Teku is saying this is a recommended update requiring at least Java 21. And what's happening is there's a couple of breaking changes here, but this is version 24.8.0. And next we have one from Lighthouse, and this is version 5.3.0. codenamed Risotto Groupon. I have no idea how they named these. And Lighthouse is saying that this is a medium priority release containing performance optimizations, bug fixes, and new features. There's several breaking changes detailed below. So there's some information here as well about what's happening. But if you are on Teku or Lighthouse, you can update these using the smart node, or you can just wait for a new version of the smart node to be released that will include this information. Okay, moving on to some other news now. There's some interesting news coming out of the Democratic Party in the US, where Eleanor Terrett here, who works with Fox Business and is like a crypto reporter most of the time, is saying that the Democrats are launching Crypto for Harris campaign to counter Trump's industry appeal. The Democratic arm of the cryptocurrency industry is determined not to let Donald Trump run away with the crypto vote this fall. So if you actually have a look at the article that Eleanor wrote here, you can see that they're planning a town hall, and that town hall will be attended by people like Mark Cuban, Anthony Scaramucci, and a handful of Democratic members of the House of Representatives. I presume that'll be people like Richie Torres, who are very pro-crypto, and others. But here, the idea is that crypto is a topic that the Republicans shouldn't just have free run at, and the Democrats are also trying to court voters based on this topic. I think the reality of the situation is that the Republicans are not in power, so they can make whatever promises they want to crypto people about having strategic reserve and like doing this and that and all this other kind of stuff. With the Democrats, the reality is a little tougher to campaign on, and the reason for that is because we have a Democratic president right now. People are upset with the actual policies from the Democratic Party. They don't like things that Elizabeth Warren has been saying. They don't like things that Gary Gensler has been doing. So for Kamala Harris to actually come out and lay out a Democratic stance for crypto, what will have to happen is people will have to understand that she'll have to either have to say that I disagree with President Biden and like the stances he's taken, or she'll have to say that when I'm president, I'll be removing Gary Gensler and reducing Elizabeth Warren's ability to impact crypto discussions. So it's a much more difficult task, I think, for the Democrats to convince voters that they're going to be positive on crypto when for the last couple of years they've been very anti-crypto, or that's what it looks like anyway. And I think that's going to be an interesting battle going back and forth there. But the reality of the situation is that the Democrats are trying to come to the table, and as people who are interested in crypto, the best case scenario from a crypto only perspective is that all political parties are kind of repositioning themselves to court that crypto vote and to try to be more crypto favorable. The worst thing would be if crypto becomes like kind of an antagonistic issue where the parties are drawing lines and kind of dividing out those voters. That I think would be the worst case scenario, because depending on which party wins, then you can either end up in a good situation or a really bad situation. Whereas if both parties are fighting out for crypto votes, which is what we want, then you can end up in a good situation, maybe an okay situation, but hopefully not a bad situation. So this is an interesting development, and I'll definitely give it more coverage in the coming days. But yeah, we want crypto to succeed, and we want the politicians to help with that. So I'll definitely let you all know what's going on with these things. But on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. It was a bit of a quick one. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. Go out and vote if you haven't voted yet. And I don't mean in the presidential election. I'm talking about something much more important, which is RPIT 49. But anyway, I'll have more updates on that for tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be at quorum, and we're going to be on the path to some really, really amazing stuff. So thanks everyone. Bye.